It's May the 25th picks edition of the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 100 times your entry with the Underdog Fantasy Pick'em. Sign up with the code MLB SGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com promo code MLB SGPN. We're also brought to you by the Mega Memorial Merch Sale. 15% off everything in the SGPN merch store with the promo code SGPN May. Welcome, everybody, to the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Friday, May the 24th. We are here to handicap a full game of action for your Saturday of Memorial Weekend. Joining me after a busy week at work is Mr. Lonte Smith. Lonte, hello, mate. How you doing? So busy that he's on mute. Come on, Lonte.
Yeah, my bad. Hey, listen, I had to knock the rust off. Yeah, man, I'm doing good, man. Happy to be here with you, man. It's been a while. I know we were talking about it off air. But yeah, man, hopefully we can get back to our winning ways. It might not be for, on a Sunday for the Monday card. But yeah, we got a lot more to break down. So yeah, looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, I did the show last night with Scott. And as we were doing the show, I was sweating that I backed the Rockies to win at the A's at plus 105. And it just went to extra innings as we finished the show, and I turned the stream off and I sat down. The Rockies scored 4 runs in the top of the 11th, and I was counting my money because the thing was, the book I used on you, if you go 5 runs in front, they pay you out early. So the Rockies early in the game, we got 4-0 up, couldn't get the 5th run. The A's come all the way back to tie it. The Rockies then go 4 runs up in the 11th.
Wow.
So they went 4 runs up and still managed to get beat. They gave up 5 runs. So that was an absolute... How I've lost that. Because, like I say, they got 4 runs up twice. And then, really, if you get 4 ahead in extras, you think you should probably win. And I'm just having a look at this first game for Friday night. I know this is no use. If you're listening to the podcast, between the Blue Jays and the Tigers tonight, which is Alek Manoah and Kenta Maeda. And I like both players strikeout props. My book, all of a sudden, I use Bet365, but over here, we never really see any lines. And tonight, they've got all tomorrow's lines, but they've got these pitching strikeouts nice and early. And I'm looking at the strikeout milestones here. Manoah to get 6. And Kenta Maeda to get 4 strikeouts. For like 5's normally, it's like, he's plus 190 to get 4 strikeouts tonight. So I think that's a big old. So as soon as we finish this show, I'm going to fill my boots on both pitches.
I'll be telling you on those.
I love it. Yeah, that plus 190 on Maeda. You have a look, because it's one of those bets where I feel like I'm missing something. Yeah. Like, do they know something I don't know?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I'll be on that with you, though. I was looking at that as well.
Oh, really? 3 of his last 5, he's got 5.
Yeah.
And then he had two inning starts where he got pulled. So if he gets pulled and goes to shit, then fair enough. But that shouldn't be plus 190. But anyway, people are going to be listening to this podcast later on, and all of this chat is of no use to anybody. Trev can have a bet though. Trev's in. So yeah, we've got a full slate tomorrow. Obviously, game 2 of the series that start tonight. So we haven't seen how the games 1 go, but I think 14 of the 15 games are on the board, which is a good place for us to start. Before we get into the games, you need to subscribe to the NASCAR Gambling Podcast and the F1 Gambling Podcast. There's loads of fast car racing this week. The Indy 500, the Monaco Grand Prix, and the Coke 600. So Rod and Cody, I tell you what, if you like a big price winner, Rod and Cody are unbelievable, really good. And they've got a contest this week, a Kyle Larson diecast car to give away. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/race to register and make sure to subscribe to the NASCAR and F1 Gambling Podcasts. Plus, with a big Memorial Day weekend, there's a mega Memorial merch sale, 15% off everything in the merch store. Promo code SGPN May. Right. 6:40 first pitch. That's not Oh, no, loads of days ball tomorrow, actually. I was looking at today's game. 1:10 first pitch will be the second game in the Blue Jays and the Tigers series. And it's Jose Barrios for Toronto. It is Reese Olson going for the Tigers. I was quite sweet on the Blue Jays for this one tonight. They scored 9 runs, 3 games in a row now. Now, I know it was the White Sox, and I can't remember who they beat last night. Actually, was it the White Sox again?
No, they played the Tigers.
Yeah. So 9 runs twice against Chicago, and then they put runs up against the Tigers. And I'm softening on the Blue Jays just a little bit. They're minus 115 here. The Tigers minus 105, total 7.5. And Barrios is going along okay. He's got one bad start in there, but his record's fine. 5-3 with a 298. And Olsen, this is a real anomaly for Olsen. He's 0-5 for the 2.16 ERA. He's got a great stat line, and the Tigers lose every start he goes to the mound. They've lost 8 in a row.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. That'll do for me. The Tigers have also lost 5 in a row under their own steam, not just when Olsen's been there. So those two things, plus the Blue Jays and Berrios are going well. That'll do for me. I think the Blue Jays are a nice price, minus 115, Lonte.
Yeah, I also think they're a good price. And I know Toronto is one of those teams that nobody can kind of figure out. I also heard on MLB Network, I was listening to some stuff and watching some games. And like the commentary was that they think if Toronto is not where they need to be, closer to the trade deadline, that Vladdy Bichette could be like on the market. So that'll be interesting to see. But they are Toronto's fighting. I mean, Barrios has been good, like you mentioned, 2 earned runs or less in 4 of his last 5 starts. I like the under in this game as well, Mal. I mean, Detroit's been struggling a bit. Of course, you mentioned the 5 losses in a row. And when they've been losing, they've been getting killed. 4 of those 5 losses have been by 5+ runs. They are 8-2 to the over, but a lot of that is pretty much opponent based. So I wouldn't put too much stock in like offensively. So I think the under is a good play as well. But I do think Toronto is cheap. So I'll go with Toronto and I'll lean under.
Yeah, just looking at the standings, it's not very pretty reading actually for the Blue Jays, even though they have caught my eye this week with the few things they've done. But that's what they'll do to you. That's how it works.
Exactly.
Yeah, they'll wait.
They got me.
They've set
they got me
for me. Yeah, and I'll bet them tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday, and they lose all 3. So yeah, that's exactly what they're planning on doing to me. I know what they're doing. It won't stop me doing it though, Lonte. And that's the sign of a true DJ. 1:40 Eastern first pitch, the San Francisco Giants at the New York Mets. Jordan Hicks for the Giants, Luis Severino for the Mets. Plus 110 San Francisco, minus 130 New York, total 7.5, Lonte.
Yeah, I like the Giants here, man. I think the Giants are a little short, if we're being honest. They're 7-3 in their last 10. Their offense has been really, really good. 6+ runs in 4 of the last 5 games. They're almost hitting 290 in their last 10. And I think Hicks is a very underrated pitcher. I mean, his record isn't as elite as it probably should be because he doesn't get the run support sometimes, but he's been good, man. His last 5 starts, he's been pretty much lights out. And Severino has lost 4 of his last 5 starts. And although Severino hasn't been bad, it's just the Mets are inconsistent offensively, and I just can't trust that at all. So I like the San Francisco Giants here. I think they're priced a little too short. And not to mention, Hicks has pitched good against quality competition. I mean, he shut down the Dodgers and Philadelphia. So I don't think he should have any issues with the Mets. I think Severino is more likely to blow up than Hicks. So I like San Francisco. I also like this game to go over, man. So I like a 2-for-1 special here.
Completely agree with you on the Giants. The two sides themselves are very, very similar. In fact, they're very hard to split to the 2 average teams. But I much prefer Hicks. And at the bigger price, you have to take him at the bigger price, plus 110, I think. The Mets became the first team in forever. I can't remember what the exact stat was, to hit 3 home runs in back-to-back games and lose them both. That hasn't happened. I don't know if it was the first one this season or the first one in 40 years. Something weird happened anyway, but obviously it was the Mets that did it because it's always the Mets do it. When I handicap this, I said, all I want is the Giants to be a bigger price. I'll take the Giants even if it's a match, and the Giants are plus 110. So 100%, I will take the San Francisco Giants. 2:10 Eastern first pitch, the Texas Rangers at the Minnesota Twins. We have Michael Lorenzen goes for Texas, and on the bump for the Twins is Chris Paddock, who are a short favourite, minus 125. Texas plus 105, and the total is 8.5. Michael Lorenzen is 2-3, has a 3.61 ERA. He's got a couple of bad starts in his game log, but he's largely trustworthy. I like Lorenzen, actually. Texas are not playing well at all. 2-8 in their last 10. And Chris Paddock, he's got more good starts than bad starts, is what I'd say about Paddock.
Yeah.
2.57 home ERA. And Minnesota don't score a lot of runs. So, all of those things combined, I like the two pitchers. Texas playing badly, and Minnesota are slightly run shy, particularly lately. Minnesota have regressed. They won the last couple, actually, but they're 3-7 in the last 10 still after that mad streak. The 8.5 looks too high here. I'm quite happy to take the under, Lonte.
Man, I think we both are in lockstep here. I like the under as well. I just can't back Minnesota right now. I know they've won the last two, but they're previous to that, like you mentioned, their streak, they've lost 7, and they had lost 7 in a row before getting back on track and winning those 2 games against Washington, which, I mean, Washington hasn't been as feisty as they had been earlier in the season. But if you look at the body of work in the last 10, Texas 2-8, average margin of defeat is around 4 runs per game, 3.9 to be exact. Minnesota 3-7 in their last 10, like you mentioned, but they've also been getting killed in their losses. Their average margin of defeat is 4.8. So they're both teams are kind of losing big when they do lose. But I'd like the under. I thought it should be closer to maybe like 7, if that. I know Paddock and Lorenzen have the ability to kind of get the other team's offense in a groove, but if you look at the offense of these teams, they haven't been able to do anything. Minnesota scored 3 runs or less in 7 of their last 10. Texas has scored 3 or fewer in 6 of their last 10. So they're not really hitting the ball well. So I think both pitchers will be able to be in decent form. If you want to just follow that up, both of them are hitting under 205 in their last 10. So I don't see a lot of offense here, man. I think we get maybe a 3-2, maybe a 3-4 type of game here, but I think it'd be low scoring. I like the under.
Lots of agreement so far, Lonte. Underdog Fantasy, the NBA playoffs are here. Underdog Fantasy are making it a lot more interesting. It is the easiest place to play fantasy sports. If you play the pick'em game, just select higher or lower on the player props that you like. Points, rebounds, assists, plenty more. You can mix your basketball players with other sports as well, so get some of these MLB plays in. Underdog is available in over 30 states, including California, Texas, and even Canada. Loads of different promos, bonus cash, airdrop specials, giveaways, and more throughout the NBA playoffs. If you keep an eye on the Twitter or X, it is at Underdog Picks. And they've just launched Champions, which is a player versus player format in Florida. Sign up with our code MLB SGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code MLB SGPN. Next game on the board is a 2:10 Eastern first pitch between the Baltimore Orioles and the Chicago White Sox. Baltimore are officially TBD, but we think it's Dean Kramer, and the bookies have it priced up, which would confirm it to me. Eric Fedde goes for the Chicago White Sox, who are plus 150 at home. The Orioles are minus 180, and the total here set at 8.5. Lonte, yourself and Trev in the chat, I've just been talking about the ending of the Baltimore game last night. I didn't really see what happened. I saw there was some dog shit interference call. What went on?
Yeah, so basically, I'm trying to figure out if I can remember it right. So they were down pretty big. I think Baltimore went up like 5-0, and then it was like 6-1, and they rallied in the ninth. So they had two guys on, no outs. So they get a strikeout. Kimbrel gets a strikeout, if I'm not mistaken. And then they pop the ball out. Some guy pops, I forgot what batter it was. He pops the ball in the air, and they call it infield fly rule. That's what the umpire calls. So of course, everybody stays. But after the guy catches the ball, the umpire, is like no in-ground. I mean, no infield fly rule. So they double them up, and the game's over. Like it literally was just like the most bullshit ever.
So he literally sent the runners back and then allowed them to be doubled off.
Yep. I think it was two. If I'm not mistaken, it's two different umpires. Were like basically conflicting on what was going on, but it was like really, really bad. It was bad. I know Trev's seen it too. Yeah, and I was on Baltimore like -1.5, and I was on the over as well. It was bullshit. Like it really was. Yeah, it really was with the umps. Yeah, that's been the story today all day. So yeah, if you have time, go back and watch that. It's it's pretty cringeworthy, yeah, for sure.
So how are you going to get your money back on this game?
Oh no, I won, but it was a like bogus that I won. Now I'm not saying that it was obviously was going to be 2 outs, with 2 on. But I mean we know Kimbrel has been like bad, so I mean it's not like it was a shoe in, but they still had to score 3 runs. But I mean I've seen other things happen. But I like the White Sox, man. I think the White Sox are going to bounce back. Obviously, I think they bounce back tonight too. I mean I don't think they bounce back tonight, but tomorrow. I think they will. Baltimore's been, underwhelming, even in victories as we just went over. They're not hitting the ball as well. They're hitting 220 in their last 10. I know Chicago's not hitting the ball well either. But I think we all can agree that the White Sox are only bettable when Fedde or Crochet is on the mound. Any other time, they're in fade mode. So I think Fedde has been like really good. I think he's coming in off 13 scoreless innings, 1.6 ERA in his last 5 starts. Kramer coming off a rough start versus St. Louis, 5 earned runs allowed. Now I know the White Sox offense is not good, but I think they might can get to Kramer here, get a lead. If they get 1 or 2 runs early on the board, I think Fedde can be able to shut down the Baltimore offense. So I like the White Sox. I'm leaning to them first 5 in full game, but I'll probably have more money on the first 5 being that Fedde. I don't want to get involved with the bullpen, so I'll go full game lean to White Sox, but first 5 for sure is going to be a play.
Mate, I'm with you again. I like the White Sox plus 150. Kramer's been a little bit expensive to follow. His last 2 starts have been horrible.
Yes, sir.
He's given up 4 too many walks. That's been the problem. 7 walks in those 2 starts. He's only managed 9 2/3, giving up 9 earned runs. So I need to see Kramer do something different before we bet him again. And Fedde's stats are great. 4-1, 3.10 ERA.
He's good.
At home, he's 4-0 with a 1.14 ERA, Lonte. Unbelievable. And the White Sox have won 4 of his last 5 starts. All of that plus 150. Absolutely, yeah, great price. Next up, 4:05 Eastern first pitch is the Seattle Mariners at the Washington Nationals. We have Logan Gilbert goes for the Mariners. For the Nationals, it will be Trevor Williams. It is Trevor Williams. Plus 140, home underdogs Washington. Gilbert and the Mariners minus 188 with a total of 8.5. Gilbert is 2-2, has a 3.20 ERA. You get good length out to Gilbert. Might be worth an outs prop here. But his last 3 starts have been a little bit shaky. He's given up 14 earned in those last 3. I thought Seattle were well beaten in New York this week. They got a very lucky win in the first game of the series where they came back. And really, the Yankees kind of held them at arm's length. There seemed an obvious difference. Bear in mind, there were 2 first-place teams. New York looked considerably stronger than Seattle this week. Williams has been great. 4-0, 2.35 ERA, 1.65 home ERA in his 3 games that he started there. In Washington, have won 7 of his 9 starts. This is exactly the same handicap as Eric Fedde. For Eric Fedde, read Trevor Williams. I'll take Washington plus 140.
Yeah, man, I couldn't agree more. Seattle, they're like really elite pitching, but they have 0 offense, and they strike out a lot. So they got to get that fixed. I know we probably say it. I know I probably say it every podcast, but they just got to get like at least an average offense to be able to compete. Because otherwise, I don't know if they'll stay in front of that division. I mean, the pitching, I don't know if it can hold up. I don't know if it's sustainable over the course of the next few months. So they have played a tough, past few series. So this will be a step down in class. I mean, they played New York, Baltimore, and Kansas City. Washington is a better team on the road, but I think Williams is like locked in, especially at home, like you mentioned. Seattle's bullpen has been atrocious, so you're going to need some length out of the starters. I like Washington here, man. I think they're live to win it outright.
The outcome of this show, Lonte, is either going to be spectacularly good or an absolute disaster. I don't think there's any middle ground here. We are either setting ourselves up so Sean and Ryan have to build a statue, or we're going to get fired. They're the two outcomes at the moment. Atlanta Braves take on Pittsburgh Pirates in a 4:05 Eastern first pitch. Ronaldo Lopez, best pitcher in baseball, ? Goes for the Braves. And Mitch Keller for the Pirates. It's -175 Atlanta. It's +130 Pittsburgh. Total is 8.5. Lonte, lead us off.
Yeah, if this was, if I was seeing a little bit more from Atlanta offensively, this number probably would be too short. Like I would lay 175 with Atlanta if they were rolling offensively, but I just can't do it right now. But I'm not going to take the Pirates either. Instead, I'll just lean to the under. It's hard to trust Pittsburgh, especially against an elite team like Atlanta, who's struggling offensively, but they still find ways to win. And we saw Pittsburgh blow the game for Skeens. They almost blew back both of his starts, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But I like both pitchers. I think their numbers are about the same in their last 5 starts. Offensively, I know Atlanta has struggled, but I trust them more than I trust Pittsburgh. So I think we see maybe a low-scoring game. I'm going to lean to the under. I'll lean with Atlanta as well.
Same again, Lonte. I've got the under 8.5. I thought it was far too high. For the reasons you spelled out, you can't pick holes in what Lopez has done at all. He's only had 3 road starts, actually, but he's been fine in them. He doesn't overpower teams, but he just gets the job done. You don't see big strikeout numbers, not flashy, but really consistent. And Keller's been in good form. He's only given up 3 earned in his last 21 innings. So he can keep this tight as well, particularly with neither offense firing. Yeah, so we can see a little bit of a pitching duel here. And I'm happy to concur with you again, Lonte. We'll take the under 8.5. 4:07 Eastern first pitch is the Houston Astros at the Oakland Athletics. It is Spencer Arrighetti for the Astros. We have JP Sears goes to the mound for Oakland. -150 Houston, +115 Oakland. Total 8.5 Lonte. Difficult one to handicap this, I found.
Yeah, I like the over, Mal. I mean, Arrighetti, I can't trust him at all. And he usually either blows up or he pitches just well enough to where the opposite team scores, 3 runs and Houston handles the rest. We saw them sweep. We saw the Houston sweep the Astros. I mean, we saw the Astros sweep Oakland last week, outscoring them 22-4. Oakland's played in 3 straight 1-run games, so I don't think this one will be as close. Arrighetti did pitch well versus Oakland, but I still don't trust him. Houston's 5+ runs, 6 of the last 10. They pretty much go crazy against lefties, 267, and Sears is allowed. It's still Sears going, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so Sears has allowed 4+ runs in 3 of his last 5 starts. So I think Houston team total over. I like the full game over if you're not comfortable with Oakland kind of scoring a few runs here. I think we saw in the last start for Arrighetti, I think Houston got 9 by themselves, if I'm not mistaken. So also Houston's bullpen has been lights out. So I like Houston here. And I also like the team total and the full game over for that.
Well, yes, Lonte, we've done it again. Trev likes Oakland team total so much he's bust out the caps lock to get.
Yeah, Oakland, I don't hate that. Total. Yeah, Arrighetti's bad, man. I would even go first 5 team total over.
This is a horrible series for wanting to bet because I don't want to bet Houston because they're always short price and they don't win enough and they find incredible ways to lose games, even though they're kind of all playing well. You can't really point at a problem with Houston. Maybe the bullpen. All right, the bullpen's been a bit dodgy, but the starting pitcher's been all right. Hunter Brown's been a bit shit, Arrighetti, but they haven't been horrendous as a team. They're hitting okay. And so Houston are hard to work out. And like I say, because they're always short prices,
right.
It's tricky. In Oakland, maybe last night, well, last night doesn't change anything. They got back and they beat it was like the worst team in baseball, beat the second worst team in baseball in extras. But They're capable of putting up runs, as Trev points out. Again, home runs. It was all homers again last night with them. I love the over 8.5. I think is an excellent price. We will go to 4:10 Eastern. First pitch is the Kansas City Royals at the Tampa Bay Rays. It is Brady Singer for the Royals. It is Aaron Savale for Tampa Bay. Relatively close on the books, this one. It's minus 105. Kansas City. Tampa Bay are plus 120. The total here is 7.5. This was a very similar handicap to last night. We had Lugo taking on it's Sean Armstrong. I think it's a bullpen day. But I like the Rays. I like Singer. 4-2 with a 2.70 ERA. The Royals are playing really, really well. They've won 6 in a row. I want to keep Kansas City on side, and I want to keep Singer on side as well. And nothing that Tampa Bay or Savali are doing would put me off either of these things here. Like I say, Kansas City are in great form. They've put a streak together. So I'll happily take them again here at minus 105.
Yeah, couldn't agree more, Mal, man. We might go down the whole card and not have a disagreement. Yeah, Kansas City's been a bet on team for me. I mean, all year. I think we both liked them coming into the season. Going forward, I think they need to be a little bit more consistent, like hitting wise, and not be like home run or bust. But I mean, outside of that, I think they've been nothing short of pretty good. Definitely a surprise to a lot of people. You mentioned their streak. That streak is currently at 6 right now. During that homestand, their average margin of victory is 4.5, so they're just blowing teams away. Tampa's lost 4 straight. Love Singer hasn't allowed more than 1 run. Well, he has allowed more than 1 run only once in his last 5 starts. Savale, he's lost 3 straight, 4 of his last 5, 4+ earned runs in 3 of those. So he's not in good form. Kansas City hitting the ball extremely well. I think they go into the Trop and get a victory. Give me Kansas City.
Yeah, Trev's on side as well.
I don't know how good this is, man.
Yeah, I know this is not going to end well. We may never have to speak of this ever again, Lonte. This could be an all-time disaster. I'll tell you what isn't a disaster, though. These NBA props on Rhythm, our new sponsor, Rhythm, RITHMM. If you're betting on NBA player props, which I'm sure Lonte is, then you need to download Rhythm. Rhythm gives you a menu of the best player props for every single NBA playoff game, making it easy to go through and find the best props to put your money on in seconds. Rhythm's predictions are backed by over 3 years of data and a team of data scientists, fine-tuning the algorithm constantly to give you the best shot of winning. If you're playing DFS or you're placing a bet, Rhythm pairs its predictions with player prop graphs to help make you feel even more confident. All the way down from the superstars to the bench players, Rhythm finds the best player prop lines backed by AI data, so you don't have to endlessly scroll your sportsbook. And you can create your own custom NBA models as well. Get AI-backed moneyline spreads and totals. Start a free 7-day trial and start winning your NBA player props with Rhythm, available wherever you get your apps. I'll spell Rhythm again for you. It's RITHMM. What's going on in the basketball, Lonte? I gave Dylan a little bit of stick last night because the Knicks got spanked. I noticed the other night. Is there anything? Can you send me any good bets in the NBA? Because I don't know absolutely nothing about it.
Yeah, man, I like Minnesota first quarter. Minnesota full game.
Is this all tonight?
Yeah, tonight. It's tonight. Yes. I think at around like 8. Yeah, so you want to put that bet in, Mal. I think that's going to be a winner first quarter. Anything under like 2.5, 3. I think 3 would be the max I would bet. But if you want to, throw that in there, I think they'll pretty much dominate in the first quarter. And I think they'll pull away late. So I like Minnesota first quarter and full game. If you want to play a prop, man, I like a couple player props. Give me Mike Conley under points, rebounds, and assists, 20.5. That should be the number still. And we're going to go with the other side. We're going to go PJ Washington over points and rebounds. I think that should be like around 16.5. I'll send you those in a text, though.
Yeah, please. I was going to say, I've just written down Mike Ollie. Is that his name?
Mike Conley. Yep.
Conley. All right. Okay. I got about half the letters in. Yeah. I'd spend ages scrolling my sports for someone that sounds like. My golly. Right, okay, I like that. That's just what I need, another vice, Lonte. Thanks for that.
Yeah, man.
4:10 Eastern first pitch is the Milwaukee Brewers at the Boston Red Sox. It is Colin Rea for the Brewers. It is Nick Pivetta for the Red Sox. Red Sox are -138 favourites here. The Brewers +110. Total is 9.5, Lonte.
Yeah, man. I think we see a lot of runs in this series, man. I really do. Boston is hitting the streak like he was up.
He's back.
Oh, can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back. You froze for a minute, but we've got
okay. Yeah, so I don't know if you saw the game where Devers' home run streak ended. Like he was up on deck and like in a crucial part of the game, and they kind of walked him. That was pretty funny. Yeah, that was bad. He was so pissed. But yeah, I think we see a lot of runs in this game now, in this series as well. Boston 5+ runs in 7 of their last 10 games. They're averaging 7.25 during a 4-game win streak. Rea's 4+ earned runs allowed in 3 of his last 5. And I think Pivetta's been really good, man. Underrated numbers, 2 earned runs or less in 4 of his last 5 starts. The Milwaukee offense had kind of struggled a bit, but they picked it up. They're hitting 261 versus righties. And also, if it's a close game down the stretch, the only thing that would keep this from going under is if Boston's bullpen kind of reverts back to being good, because they haven't been good in their last 10. They've been struggling. So I think we see a lot of runs here, Mal. I mean, I know Pivetta's numbers have been good, but Milwaukee's offense is really good, man. They are really good. They travel, so they play well on the road. I like the over. I'll lean to Boston, but nothing too profound.
Okay, so we don't have the same pick here. I haven't gone against you, but I've taken a side where you've taken a total, and I prefer the Red Sox. On the face of it, Rea's numbers aren't bad. 3-2, 4.07 ERA, with 5.67 in his last 5 starts. The Brewers not really playing very well. Checking their recent record, the Brewers 4-6 in the last 10. Yeah, they're kind of hanging on a little bit. They're not bad on the road, actually, 16-12 on the road, but they've certainly slowed down, and Rea slowed down. And I like Pivetta a lot. 2-2, 3.04 ERA.
Yeah.
He's been great, apart from one forgivable start at the Braves. You can pretty much forgive anyone a poor start at the Braves. So I prefer Pivetta, and at this moment in time, I prefer the Red Sox over the Brewers. So I'll take Boston at -138. 7:15 Eastern first pitch is the LA Dodgers at the Cincinnati Reds. Walker Beuhler draws the start for the Dodgers, and for Cincinnati it will be Hunter Greene who starts there. +130 for the Reds, -163 for the Dodgers, and the total here is set at 9, Lonte.
Yeah, we just saw these teams play not too long ago. Let me see. When did they play? Last week. Dodgers won 3 of 4. Outscored Cincinnati 16-12. We actually seen these pitchers go against each other as well. But I think Buehler's gotten a little bit better in every start. His contact has went down in every single start that he's made. He's coming off 6 scoreless, which ironically was against Cincinnati. I think the Dodgers have been they struggled in the past in back-to-back games versus I forgot who they played. The Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks, yeah, they struggle, especially on offense. Even Glasnow was on the mound. But Cincinnati, man, they're one of those teams I can't trust. 3-7 last 10. 4 of those 7 losses were by 2+ runs. I think that, I mean, although Hunter Greene's been good, we all know that he pitches to contact. I don't trust Cincinnati's bats. They're hitting 210. They're hitting under 200 in the last 10 versus righties. 217 overall in the last 10. I think the Dodgers kind of get right here, so I'm going to go with the Dodgers team total over, and I'll lay the 1.5. I'm getting all 9 at bats. I think the Dodgers offense breaks out here, Mel.
Okay, now we've departed, Lonte.
Okay.
I'm going to give the Reds a little chance here. We've done what? We've done 35 minutes, mate. It's about time we had a little
That's
music.
Cool.
Now, Buehler's one road start wasn't very good. Now, you've kind of tempered my picks here by saying the Beuhler's improving start to start. But his one road start wasn't great. He gave up 3 earned runs over 3 1/3 at the Padres. Hunter Greene has been good. Held the Dodgers well last week, 6 1/3 and 2 earned runs. It's really hard to call. Really, really hard to call. And at this point, I'll give Cincinnati a chance. In the first 5, they'll be around about plus 120, maybe plus 115, plus 120. I'll give the Reds a chance to get ahead early. Next up is a 7:15 Eastern first pitch between the Chicago Cubs and the St. Louis Cardinals. We have Jameson Taillon, who is going to the hill for the Cubbies, and for St. Louis it is Matthew Liberatore. And this is the one game we've got tonight that is off the board. Liberatore, I think, is officially TBD. Yeah, he is. So yeah, no lines on this at all. It's hard to do anything but want the Cubs here. Jameson Taillon has been great, and Liberatore hasn't. Liberatore has always got kind of high hopes. There's a lot of talk around him. He's like in his 4th season of, or maybe his breakout's coming. And you've been waiting around for Liberatore for ages. And now he's sitting again with an ERA of 8.74. Tons of everything is what Liberatore gives up. Is the game totals in his last 3 starts have been 14, 15, and 13.
Jesus.
So if you want an over, I wouldn't put you off. It's possibly even kind of a bullpen day, a long opening start here for Liberatore, 3 innings. But Taillon's been fine, 3-2 with a 2.20 ERA. And I much prefer the Cubs anyway. So I don't know what price they'll be. They'll probably be a little bit prohibitive. But without seeing any prices, my lean would be the Cubs, Lonte.
Yeah, I would lean that way as well. I'm hoping that we get a little bit of value on the Cubs after losing 7 of their last 10. But they did lose 4 of those to Atlanta. So I mean, I don't think that is anything to be like ashamed of. And St. Louis has won 8 of their last 10, swept Baltimore. So I'm hoping they come in a little bit overrated and we can get better value on the Cubs. Like you mentioned, I prefer Taillon over Liberatore. So I'm waiting, and hopefully the Cubs come out at a short price or even plus money. I would be even inclined.
Plus money on the Cubs?
No. I'm hoping that we can. I mean, St. Louis been playing well. They've been hitting the ball well.
Right. They haven't been playing well. They've won some games, but they haven't been playing well. The fucking frauds they are.
No. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, like, I'm hoping that the price is driven up on them because they have won those few games.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think you're right, because you'd look at the standards. Oh wow, they've won 8-2. They swept the Orioles. We said last night, first time the Orioles have been swept since May 2022, and it was the Cards that done it. But nearly all of their wins have been horrible and lucky in some way. Or I'm just talking through my pocket is the other option, which is always a possibility. Like, let's go to, this is going to be the shortest favourite on the board by a long stretch. The Philadelphia Phillies. The Colorado Rockies will go off at 9:10 Eastern. Aaron Nola for the Phillies. Dakota Hudson for the Rockies. And yeah, $2.50 favourites, the Phils. The Rockies are plus 180. No total on this one yet. I mean, Lonte, what kind of case can you spell out for this one?
Man, all I can say is Rockies. I mean, they swept. Philadelphia actually swept Colorado in last month's series. 2 of those 3 games were close. But I mean, I'm not in the business of going against Philadelphia right now. They're 9-1 of their last 10. They're beating teams on average in those games by 3.5 runs. Hudson hasn't been terrible, but again, I'm not going to back him against Philadelphia. And Nolan went out, shut them down in his last start versus them. 7 1/3, only allowed 1 run, had 9 Ks. So if you want to look at some some Nola, like total outs props or K props, I wouldn't be opposed to that. But Philadelphia team total, maybe even the run line, Mal. I mean, they're getting all 9 at bats.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be opposed to that either.
The first thing I wrote down here was, if you're listening to this show and you need us to handicap the game for you, then maybe gambling isn't for you. We're not going to tell anyone anything about this that they don't know, that they're not expecting to happen. I mean, unless you're being really contrarian, people are going to come down on Philly team total a Philly run line, a Philly run line.
Mm-hmm.
Nola's been great, 305. The Phillies won 6 in a row. They're 9-1 in the last 10. Colorado has sent a pitcher to the mound who's got a 5.89 ERA and is 1-7. They just saw that disastrous whatever the hell happened last night against the Athletics. So yeah, we're not helping anybody out by handicapping the Phillies and the Rockies here. We are not performing a public service, Lonte, in this situation. Yeah. We move on to a 9:38 Eastern first pitch between the Cleveland Guardians and the LA Angels. Tanner Beebe goes for Cleveland and Jose Soriano for the Angels, who are a little underdog here at home, plus 105. Cleveland are minus 125, and the total is 7.5. Did you know, Lonte, that the Angels pitchers have been pitching to themselves? They've got that. Well, I don't know what it's called now. It's called a traject machine or something. And the batters use it in the cage, and it simulates. It gives you you can see the opposition pitcher, so it simulates his release point and his spin rate and everything about him. You actually see him on a screen. You see him on a screen throwing the pitch, and then the ball flies out of his hand. Well, the Angels pitchers have been pitching to themselves, which in a way kind of makes sense. So the pitchers have been standing in the box while a simulated version of themselves.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And actually, because initially I thought the same as you. I thought that sounds a bit mental, but really it doesn't. It sounds like a really good idea. And Soriano, who pitches tomorrow, he was talking about it and said it really gives him confidence in what his pitches look like. He thought, oh shit, I'm a little bit better than I thought here. That's really hard to hit. If I throw that there, they now know what it looks like. And I like Soriano a lot. He throws hard. He's been going long into games. The name's kind of come out of nowhere. He wasn't listed in the Angels rotation at the start of the season. He wasn't someone we factored in. 2-4 on the season, 3.30-ish ERA, but he's got good stuff. He's got good velo. His last two have been really good. Beebe's been great as well. However, so I wanted to take the Angels, but it's hard to get off Beebe. 2-1 with a 3.93 ERA. His last two starts, he's only given up one earned run in 12 1/3. And he started 5 games on the road with a 1.69 ERA. So you can't really pick holes in him. The Guardians have won 6 in a row. I would take the Angels if they were a bit of a bigger price. If they were plus 125 or so, but they're not. So I'll take, if I can shop around and find a price, I'll take the Angels. But I like both pitchers. I'll take the under 7.5.
Yeah, I love the under. Cleveland's actually one of the hottest teams that nobody's really talking about. I guess they're not as exciting, but they got good pitching. And that's without Shane Bieber, who they lost. So I like Cleveland here, and I love the under. Cleveland won 2 of 3 earlier in the month at home. They've won 9 of 10. You mentioned it, 6 in a row. Their last loss came in that series. One of their losses came. One of Beebe's losses came on the mound versus the Angels. He's allowed 1 earned run or less in 3 of his last 5 starts, 10 in the other though. So that he kind of got to get that under control. He allowed 6 versus the Halo. So I think that was when the Angels were pretty much in a better form than what they are in now offensively. But I do agree, Soriano's been good as well. He shut out Cleveland in 6 innings pitched. So the familiarity's there. I think we see a low-scoring game out. I'm going to go first 5 under and full game under. I'll lean to Cleveland for the side.
Okie doke. I tell you, there's a live overall under going on as we speak, Lonte. The IT department went out tonight on the town, and she said to me, the last thing she said was, I will be back by 11 p.m. at the latest. It is now 11:16 p.m. Lonte, and she's nowhere to be seen. The overall under when she gets in, I'll go with 2:38 a.m. That's where I'm setting the line here. So I'm going to take the overall the under because I don't think she ever had any intention of coming home, which is fine because it means I can sit and watch baseball. But yeah, she's already 17 minutes past her curfew, Lonte.
Oh man.
So yeah, I'll give her another 3 out. That's why the kids are running riot. Just before we started recording, both kids are just running riot, shit, and doing what they want, and taking no notice of me. The penultimate game on the card is the New York Yankees at the San Diego Padres. It's a 9:40 Eastern first pitch. Marcus Stroman for the Yankees and Dylan Cease goes for the Padres. -115 San Diego, -105 the Pinstripes. Total 7.5, Lonte.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over, Mal. I like the over in this game. New York has been playing extremely well. I'm hitting the ball really well, and although St. Louis, even though San Diego has been inconsistent offensively, they do hit the ball better at home. Both teams hitting 280 last 10 versus righties. Their average combined runs per 9.8 or 9.9. I'm sorry. And I know Cease, he's had two. He's been good, but against elite offenses like Atlanta, Philadelphia, he's allowed 10 earned runs in those starts and 4 combined in other 3 in his last 5. So against elite offenses, he doesn't pitch as well. And I think New York is a lead offense. So I'll lean to them full game, but I like the over. I think both offenses have had some success here.
What you lean towards? The Yankees, you think?
Yeah, I lean towards the Yankees. I like the over.
Okay. You've got 2 pitchers here with identical ERAs, which is unusual. You don't often see that. Both sitting at 3.05. But I do want a piece of the Padres this series.
Oh, man.
And yeah, having not seen, obviously, game 1 hasn't gone off. I like the Padres in game 1 Friday night. But having not seen the result of that, I do feel like obliged to take the Padres because I do think they might win the series. They might not sweep, but there's a 2-1 here in this for the Padres. Like I say, Stroman's, myself and Dylan talked about him last night, has taken a little step forward by taking a little bit off what he's trying to do with the ball, which a lot of other pitchers could learn from, I think. So Stroman's fine, but the Yankees traditionally haven't been great on these little West Coast swings, and the Padres are playing well, so I think the Padres can get to them. So yeah, I'll side with the team I think can win the series. I'll take the Padres again, -115. Stop Geoengineering was in the show last night. He's joined us again. Good evening, sir. How you doing? I say sir, might be a woman. Where we go? Miami at Arizona is the final game on the card. It is 10:10 Cowboy time, first pitch. And we have one of my favourites, Sixto Sanchez, goes for the Marlins. Left-handed pitcher Jordan Montgomery will go for Arizona, who are -200 with Miami at +150. Total is up there at 9.5. This was quite tricky to handicap as well, I felt, Lonte.
Yeah, man, Mal, I'm going to be honest, man. I like Miami in this series. I think they can win this series. They've been playing a lot better as of late, 7-3 last 10. They do struggle versus lefties, but Montgomery's been allowing like a solid amount of contact. So I think that confidence that they had, that Miami's had, I think they can carry that in Arizona. I mean, it's not like Arizona is playing. I mean, they got 2 wins against the Dodgers, don't get me wrong, but I mean, I wouldn't say they played extremely well. I think that had more to do with the Dodgers kind of mishaps. I give them credit, but I don't think they were just blown. They didn't blow me away by any means. And I know Miami's offense has struggled on the road, but the bullpen of Arizona, man, they've been bad. They've been really bad. I think if it's a closer game towards the end, Miami will stay in it with Jazz and those guys at the top of the lineup. So, man, I like Miami a lot here, man. I think I'm gonna look. I took your handicapping style the past few times I've been on when I want to bet these dogs, these ugly dogs. I'm betting them tonight and I'm betting them tomorrow. If they win one, I win money. So that's what I'm going with, man.
So, yeah, we both took Miami on last night's show, myself and Scott. I'm trying to work out what I've had to open a new notebook, Lonte. That's why I'm swapping here. Yeah, it was Braxton Garrett. Oh no, we took the under actually last night. Said that Miami were very much live. 4 shutouts in the 8 games, in the last 8 games Miami have thrown, which is unusual. But yeah, Sixto Sanchez, 0-2, 6.41 ERA. That's the problem. The problem I had with this was I'm not very keen on Sanchez, Miami, Montgomery, or Arizona. I was not keen on anything that was going on here, so it was hard for me. Normally, if I find something to split the tie, I couldn't find anything to split the tie. But Sanchez gives up loads of stuff. Montgomery's been shaky. I say 4.98 ERA. 9.5 is on the high side. My last note says if the total's 8.5, I'd love to take the over. So I might have to be brave and take the over 9.5.
Yeah, I like
so I
that
do think there'll be runs on both sides.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't rule Miami out even a little bit. Like to see even tonight behind Braxton Garrett. One of those two games, they're nice prices. Plus 167 Friday, plus 150 Saturday. You get one of those over the line, Lonte,
Yes, sir.
and we are in a little bit of profit. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we've got 15 games in the hutch. You're always making on him a good time. That's one of the. I mean, we might give you 30 losers, but we do it in a timely fashion. So you know you can't have everything, can you, Lonte? It's light and shade,
right?
You can't have it both ways.
Right.
So give us a lock and dog, mate.
Yeah, I just gave out my dog, man. I really like the Marlins. I think they're gonna come. I think they're gonna come with it. I know we gave out a bunch of dogs. I think we like a bunch of ugly dogs too. I think we like the White Sox as well and Washington. So, take your pick. But I think Miami is the strongest dog. Get the bigger price. So I'll go with Miami. If Sixto can give us some solid innings and get to that Arizona bullpen, and the offense can get 1 or 2 runs across early, I think we'll be in good shape. So I like the Marlins as my dog. Likewise, I'm going with San Francisco. I think the price is a little bit too short. The way they've been playing offensively, pretty much a fade of the Mets. I know Severino's been going pretty well. But again, I think Hicks is the better pitcher. The offense has been humming along San Francisco. I think they get it done with Hicks on the mound. So I'm locking up San Francisco. Let me get an updated number, Mal. Let me see. I see minus 101. So close to even money.
San Francisco?
Yep.
Yeah, I saw plus 110, I'll have to...
Really? I'll take that as well. Yeah, okay. I see. It's at FanDuel. Yeah, plus 110. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Taxi just pulled up outside the house. I thought it was going to be the missus, landed in 24 minutes. But it's driven off and it wasn't her, so we're still rolling. She's pushing the over. She's gone on the alt booze line tonight. Right then. I see the Giants. I took the Giants as a bit of a giveaway dog last night, so I can't do that again. I like Boston. A little bit short. Oh man, you caught me off guard here. The Cubs. You reckon the Cubs might be close to even money, don't you?
Yeah, I'm hoping so. I'm hoping that we get a little overreaction from the odds makers, and they more so go off of what what the record says and the numbers say. Because St. Louis, they've been hitting the cover off the ball, but I don't think they're a good team. I think they're pretty much fugazi. So,
okay, so I'll look up the Cubs then, unless they're a ridiculously prohibitive price. And for my dog, I like the White Sox. Let's go with Washington or the White Sox, Lonte. Oh, can we take them both? No, I need to be brave and take one.
Yeah, I'll take the White Sox. Take the White Sox, man.
Right. I'll take the Nationals. Plus 140, Trevor Williams. Like I say, they've won 7 of his 9 starts. And Gilbert, 40 in runs in his last 3. Washington alive. Don't score tons of runs. They don't have to. Seattle won't. Could be a 4-3, something like that. Plus 140 is a nice price. I'll take the Nationals. And that is it. Done and dusted. Lonte, Memorial Weekend in your country. What does that entail? What are you getting up to?
Well, it usually a lot of barbecues, little events. My nephew's birthday's coming up, so I think we're having something for him on Sunday. Outside of that, man, a lot of family time, just being away from work. I'm gonna watch some baseball, get drunk, watch some basketball, get more drunk. Yeah, man. Hopefully we can catch some bits.
Perfect. Yeah, I have to say, I think I'm barbecuing on Sunday. I got some nice lamb. I bought some apricots. I'll do a nice lamb and apricot kebab, Lonte.
Love lamb, man. I love lamb.
Yeah. And then a lot of football. FA Cup final tomorrow. The Championship playoff final. So if you want to go and get some tips for those, go and listen to the Premier League Gambling Podcast. We've got all.
Good plug.
And we did 20 minutes on what's your favourite spoon. Not saying we were short of content, but we did a little bit too much time on what's your favourite spoon over there. Right, smashing. Thanks, mate. Well, have a great weekend.
Thank you. Man.
That's everyone, all of our listeners in the States. For me, I don't know what you're celebrating, but I hope you have a lovely time doing it. And the gang will be back on Sunday night. I think it's Scott and somebody else.
It's me.
But until then, is that you? Nice one.
Yep.
Until next week, good luck. Have a great weekend, everybody. And we will see you down the road. Cheers.